When you're young, when you're restless, when you're fun, cause you're desperate. Oh, here they come for a chance, for adventure. What's your poison? What's your pleasure? Oh.
What's the story, WWE fans? Tonight's topics on the Wrestle story include...
Brock Lesnar left for Vegas without his belt.
The Iconics were iconic.
And the man proves that she is the man.
All that and more coming up. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Wrestle Story, where we discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after NXT, and after every pay-per-view. And of course, tonight with Wrestlemania happening, we are here to talk about that.
Yes, I was so excited. All in all, this was a great pay-per-view. I really, really liked it. Great outcomes for 90% of the matches. I don't know how correct on my predictions I was, but, you know, a good show.
Overall, I thought it was okay. Kind of got flat in the middle, I thought, and I was kind of disappointed in the way they ended the Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey match.
I will say that felt a little flat, but I was still excited because, you know.
Well, you're excited because of the man.
Yeah, I was excited of the man, yes. But, I mean, overall, it was decent pay-per-view.
Not bad. Like I said, it wasn't bad. It was. I think they just had too many matches. I think that was the biggest thing.
Yeah. I will agree with that. So, with that being said, we will start off with the pre-show. So, there was just a whole bunch of talking about all the different matches. And then we had the first match of the evening, which is the Cruiserweight Championship. And it is Tony Nese versus Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship. This match, like, seriously should have been on the main card. It was an amazing match. At some point in time during the match, Buddy Murphy got busted open, like his eye or by his eyebrow or something, and he was like bleeding down his face. And so I don't know what happened there. I guess wasn't paying attention that well to the match to figure out what exactly had happened. Maybe he got an elbow to the face. I don't really know, but he was busted open by the end of the match.
Yeah.
And like I said, this match should have been on the main card, in my opinion.
I was hoping they'd start the main show with this, and obviously the Cruiserweights division still doesn't really matter, and they just throw it on the main or on the pre-show, and they put it at the beginning of every pay-per-view there is. So
yeah, The one good thing I will say that came out of this match, well, I guess two good things, depending on how you look at it. So first, the winner of the match and the new Cruiserweight Champion, Tony Nese. He won. You can gloat all you want. You got your prediction right. I did not. I said Buddy Murphy was going to retain. But with that being said, because he lost, I'm wondering, are they going to move him to the main roster? I can only hope, because otherwise there's no reason for him to have lost that match whatsoever. And, yeah.
The problem with moving him to the main roster is the fact that they don't use their talent quite well enough. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that's going to change here after WrestleMania as things start to change a little bit.
You can only hope.
But, you know, if they're not going to use him, he just as well stay at Live 205, where at least he's being seen by somebody.
If anybody. Let's be honest.
Well, I don't think many people watch Live 205, but there's probably more watching Live 205 than watching the guys in the back room, you know, that are just showing up to SmackDown or Raw, just waiting to get on the main show.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. So, yeah, all around really, really good match. I liked it a lot. Then the next match on the card that we have is the Women's Battle Royal. We were both wrong on this. Neither of us got this right. I said Nikki Cross, because I was like, I'm going to go with the wild card, and, you know, why not? And you said Lacey Evans. And Lacey Evans wasn't even in the match.
Yeah, so mine was kind of messed up before it even started.
Yeah.
You know, the Battle Royals, unless they're going to do something with them and make it mean something, there's really, you know, there's no hype to it or anything like that other than just, you know, throwing 18, 20 people in the ring, 30 people in the ring for nothing.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Sorry, just grabbing a piece of paper so we can, like, tally our predictions because we have something special when we're done with our predictions.
That's right.
So, you know, it was, I don't know. The Battle Royal, I liked it for the most part.
It was a good, you know, entertaining as far as...
also, sorry.
Being able to expose people to, you know, more wrestlers.
Ember Moon made her return in this Battle Royal. Ember Moon was not said that she was going to be in the Battle Royal, but she was. And so everybody was like, Twitter literally blew up, and they were like, Ember Moon is back! What the heck is this? And so after Nikki Cross got eliminated, I was like, Ember Moon, that's my pick. And then Ember Moon got eliminated, and then I was like, all right, now I'm going to go with Lacey Evans. And then Lacey Evans, you know.
Never showed up
to enter the match. So
yeah.
We were both wrong on that. But the winner ended up being Carmella. What'd you think of that?
Again, I don't think it's that, like, big a deal. I mean, it's one of those things where these Battle Royals really don't mean a whole lot.
Yeah.
And
I don't like the fact... I mean, I'm not saying Carmella shouldn't have won, but I don't think it really... I mean, like, it didn't really do anything.
No, that's just it. It doesn't do anything for anyone, and I don't think they're going to carry this over into anything. I don't think they're going to do anything with it.
Nope.
So it was just one of those things.
Just for her to get it under her belt to say, hey, you know, I won the Women's Battle Royal.
Yeah, at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Asuka ended up being eliminated by Sarah Logan, and then Sarah Logan thought that she had won, and then Carmella came out from behind the ring because she had gone through the middle rope, which was not over the top rope. And then Sarah Logan was then eliminated by Carmella. I would have much rather preferred to see Sarah Logan win, in my opinion. It would have been different.
Well, and I wonder if they're not going to start to give her a little bit of a push, just based on watching the way things happen.
I was kind of waiting for the Riot Squad to turn on one another in this particular match, because it's a battle royal, so you can't all work together.
Well, you could till the end.
I mean, yeah, you could, but then you got to throw somebody out.
Yeah.
And then it does you no good. So I was waiting for them to turn on one another, and I would have, like I said, much rather liked to see Sarah Logan get the win in the Battle Royal, and then it gives her some type of, you know, something behind her because she doesn't have anything right now. And I think she could be a really good talent on Raw if they used her right.
Well, and that's why I wonder if they're not going to start giving her a little bit of a push here with the way they had her, you know, the things she was doing in the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Then we have then we had the Raw Tag Team Championship.
Yes. The Revival, who are the champs, versus Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
What does this say about the Raw Tag Team Championship?
That they don't mean much.
I mean, they're putting them on.
They put the SmackDown
the pre-show.
They put the SmackDown belts on the main card. Why didn't they put the? Why didn't they put the Raw one on the main card?
Well, I mean, to me, it just says that this title means nothing.
Pretty much. Honestly, I would have swapped out the Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio match with the Raw Tag Team Championship match and put Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio on the pre-show and then put the Raw Tag Team match on the main card.
Definitely, especially the way,
the way it ended.
all went. I
mean, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Overall, I didn't think this was a bad match.
I did not either.
We both kind of expected, what happened, the end result. We both made the prediction here that Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder would win the titles just because
Why else would they have this match in the first place?
Well, we both kind of had the same thought that Zack Ryder was going to end his...
Kurt Hawkins.
Or Kurt Hawkins, sorry.
Kurt Hawkins.
Kurt Hawkins is going to end his,
279
or 269 or whatever.
losing streak.
And
on
the biggest stage. So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Why else would they have the match if they weren't going to do that? Makes no sense.
Yeah.
So, we were expecting that, and we were both right. And so that's cool, and they got to do all their photos and stuff, and I saw those all over Twitter of them with their new belts. And how long do you think this is going to last?
Not long.
Till tomorrow?
I believe what's going to happen is you're going to see Aleister Black and Ricochet win the titles.
They should.
Like sometime in the next week or two.
I hope.
So we'll see. Again, we'll see what happens with this, see if they end up defending the titles right away, or if they're gonna have him wait and keep him for a couple weeks.
Next match on the pre-show. This is the last match on the pre-show, and then we get into the main card. Is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and my pick was Andrade, and your pick was EC3.
Yes.
As I thought.
Again, trying to pick a Battle Royal winner is tough, especially knowing that they're whoever they were gonna have win. There's really not going to be a big push no matter what.
Hello, Bendy. How are you?
Hi, Bendy.
How's it going?
So, this wasn't a total shock in the way that it ended.
No, it wasn't a total shock because, spoiler alert, Braun Strowman ended up winning after he eliminated the SNL goons. There was, that slight feeling that I was like, they're going to put one of these stupid SNL guys over. That's good to hear. You're good, Bendy. Thumbs up to that.
The only way I would have liked to have seen it, something happen out of it, is if when the Hardy Boys were trying to get Strowman out, if the two SNL guys would have knocked all four of them or all three of them off out in the ring, and then the two SNL guys had to go at it at the end. I mean, that's the only thing, if they were going to do it that way, that would have been the only way that I would have went, okay. I can handle this.
I didn't like them being in the match at all.
Yeah, me neither.
Honestly, I feel like it kind of downplayed the entire match.
Yes, definitely.
And so, whatever. Braun Strowman won. Lots of people were expecting him to win just due to the fact that it would come down to him and the SNL guys. I wanted to be different and pick an actual other competitor that wasn't Braun Strowman, but it's not shocking that Braun Strowman won. Actually, at first, I was like, Braun Strowman is going to be the obvious pick. So would they have him win then? Would that make sense? Since it's so obvious, since the SNL guys are in there, and he would be willing to get rid of any guy in that ring to get to the SNL guys. So
you knew. I mean, you knew it was probably going to happen this way. So I mean,
yeah, but it's like the obvious choice, which is why I went with somebody else. Yeah. And that was the same thing in the other Battle Royal. Was Asuka would be the obvious choice to win that Battle Royal, but she didn't.
I would have never picked Carmella.
I wouldn't have either.
So, like I said, Battle Royals are hard to pick.
They are, very hard.
Especially when you don't know what direction they're going to go with it, because winning the Battle Royal means nothing. They, doesn't mean they're going to give somebody a push or anything. Just, it's a match that throw, 18, 20, 30 people out there.
So then we get into the actual card, and Alexa Bliss comes out to begin, and she talks about being the host and how good of a host she is, per usual, because that's what she does. Then she brings out Hulk Hogan. I thought this was kind of a shock.
Got the crowd.
Kind of a shock.
Got the crowd pumped a little bit.
I wasn't expecting it because she said something about, I'm going to make this evening, snazzy or something. And I was like, she's going to, add herself to the main event or something. And then she didn't, and she brought out Hulk Hogan.
Well, I just think it's funny for being the host. You only see her like 3 times the whole night.
Yeah.
What a crappy hostess.
Hulk Hogan comes out. He says it's great to be back, and then he says a couple other things, and he says, "What you gonna do, brother, when the Hulkster, Alexa Bliss, and Wrestlemania run wild on you?" Then right after that, Paul Heyman comes out while they're like finishing up out there on the ramp, and Paul Heyman comes out and he gets on the mic and he says, "If Brock isn't going on last, then we are going first because we are not hanging around here. Brock has places to be. He's got to get back to Las Vegas. And so we are not waiting around for our match." And then they bring Brock Lesnar out. And then they bring Seth Rollins out. And boy, oh boy, was this a way to open the show.
Yeah, I thought this was an outstanding start.
Like, I was not expecting the Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins match to be first at all.
No, I wasn't either.
At all.
No.
I was expecting, like, Miz and Shane to go first, or even AJ Styles and Randy Orton. Just because they're, like, mid-card matches. And you wanted something that would kind of start your show off with a bang, but not, main event status. You know?
Yeah, I thought this would be towards the middle or towards the end. Good match, solid, great way to start it.
Amazing way to start it.
It was.
So, Seth Rollins.
Seth gets the win.
The Beast Slayer. His entrance was really cool. BT dubs. I thought it was super cool. I liked his whole entrance that, came out. The Beast Slayer. It had Brock Lesnar's symbol and he was like sticking a sword through it. So Seth ends up like...
He took a beating.
He did! He took a flipping beating.
Like literally.
Like before the match even started.
Yeah.
He took a beating.
He's got, he had some bruises on his back and stuff, so I wouldn't be shocked if he's not like injured.
Yeah.
Like legitimately injured.
And yeah, it was bad. It was not good. And that was even before the match started. And then after the match got going, he was beat up a little bit more. I think it was F5'd once.
28 times.
And then he was taken to Suplex City like 70,000 times. And then Seth Rollins, the ref got thrown out of the ring. Seth hit Brock with a low blow. And then, sorry, I'm like talking with a pen because I'm writing stuff down, but I'm a fool sometimes. So Seth hits Brock with a low blow after the ref gets knocked out of the ring. The ref comes back in the ring. Seth hits him with a curb stomp once, twice, and 3 times. Knocked it out of the park, and he got the pin, and he is the new Universal Champion. My goodness, this is an amazing way to start the show. I got up, jumped out of my seat, and ran around the room 3 times.
Yeah, it was solid. Anybody that's watching, what do you think about that? What did you think about that match, and did you like the way it went? Do you think it should have been different? Or are you glad that Brock Lesnar is now on a plane, or started out right away being on a plane to Vegas and without his belt?
I think, quite honestly, it makes Brock Lesnar look really bad when Paul Heyman comes out there and is like, if Brock is not going on last, we don't care. We're getting our stuff done right now, and then we're getting out of here because we don't care about whatever the main event is now. We don't do this. We don't do that. It makes Brock Lesnar look really bad. He really doesn't care.
I don't think he does care. I think that's the biggest issue, and I think that's why people don't. I get a hint, a feeling that people don't really like him, and that, it's about time to move on. He can either come in and be on Raw or SmackDown. Like I said, they got enough talent. They could bring all these guys in. They don't have to be there every week. They can make storylines with different characters, and I think it would just could be a lot better.
Agreed. You don't need Brock Lesnar every 6 months. He's not worth it.
Well, and he doesn't even have to be there every week.
Well, see, I wonder if him losing means that he did not re-sign his contract.
Might not have. The thing is he wants to show up, it seems like, just on pay-per-views and occasionally show up on Raw or SmackDown, wherever. And I just, it kind of turns people off. Well, because when you don't have a champion there, a fighting champion willing to put their championship on the line when need be,
Well,
I've heard people, say that, he's the greatest champion ever. Well, really? I mean,
What
when
has
you
he
show
done?
up, you show up every, you show up to Raw every, 3 months,
If even.
like right before a pay-per-view, and then you try and sit there
And
and
if
talk
even
about him
that,
being the best.
before WrestleMania, he was at a total of 2 Raws. One, like, right after the Rumble.
Yeah.
And then one this last week. And
Yeah,
that was
it's just
it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is
That was it.
when you have other talent that can be used, and I'm not saying that he has to be there every week, but every couple weeks he should be showing up, and it just doesn't work that way. And so, I think that having him lose is probably best for business.
I would think so, yeah.
And now they just need to start creating storylines that are solid and everybody's going to enjoy and love.
Yeah.
So then we have the AJ Styles versus Randy Orton match. Personally, I thought this match was kind of boring.
I did too. I found myself kind of sitting there just scrolling through Twitter, reading stuff from that had happened in the previous match, and people
Yeah, I
going, "Oh my
thought
gosh!"
this could have been a lot better.
It wasn't a bad match. It's just it just wasn't great. It
No,
wasn't like it didn't have a wow factor to it.
No, it didn't, and I think that I think that they could have made it better. Mm-hmm. But I just I got a sense, okay, they're having a match, and it
Cool.
so whatever. But I thought they did a good job leading it up to the match.
I did too. I thought all last week and the
And
week
so
before,
I was
like,
kind of
the
looking
promos
forward to
and
the
everything.
match, and then watching the match, I was like, I just don't feel it.
Yeah.
And I don't think watching the crowd, I don't think the crowd really felt it either.
They were kind of into Randy Orton in the beginning, and then they just kind of faded. Like, they really didn't care.
Well, and I wonder, there was a big pop in the, Lesnar Rollins match. There was people standing up and cheering and stuff like that. So I wonder if, they kind of, and then after, Rollins won, there's a big cheer. So I wonder if, they kind of were let down a little bit, and, how you get the adrenaline flowing, and then all of a sudden you just feel
Take it
tired.
away.
And,
Yeah.
So I wonder if that didn't have something to do with it. But, I was kind of disappointed in this match. Thought it could be a lot better than it was. And so, yeah.
AJ Styles ended up getting the win. We both predicted that just due to the outcome of SmackDown this week, and it made the most sense. I'm wondering if they're going to continue this on SmackDown this next week so Randy Orton can get a win, because I just don't know if leading up to WrestleMania and then just dropping it off right there makes a lot of sense. Like, you won't have Randy Orton retaliate or anything after the fact and then lead into another match where Randy Orton gets a win.
They might. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Like, leading into the next pay-per-view, maybe? Which I think is Money in the Bank,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. So then we have good old Lacey Evans, who comes out now and not, during the Women's Battle Royal. Too bad. She comes out, she does a regular thing, she waves, and she walks back. Why it was placed here right before this match, I don't know.
You want my personal opinion?
What?
I don't think they have a clue what they're doing with her.
Yeah. I would say so at this point. Yeah.
I would have said, that they were setting her up to have, a feud with, like, Asuka or somebody like that. And
then they dropped that off the face of the
the sad
planet.
part is they had a perfect opportunity. They could have threw her in the Battle Royal.
They could have.
And, kind of started a feud in the Battle Royal with someone.
I think they're scared to put her out on the main card where lots of people see it, where she's actually wrestling. Because I feel like they're not all that confident in her wrestling right now.
Well, they might not be, but the only way... Then why is
They
she...
put her in the Royal Rumble, and that was it.
The thing is if they're not confident about her wrestling, they should have kept her down at NXT.
Exactly. Then why'd you bring her up?
I mean, you brought her out and had her start doing these things.
And see, they had a plan with her. They were going to do Lacey Evans versus Asuka at WrestleMania, but then they dropped that, like, several weeks ago, and then they dropped Asuka with the title last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last week? Last Tuesday? And then, that title was on the line in this match tonight with Charlotte and Becky and Ronda. So, I mean, they had something, and then they just... I swear to you, I think it's her wrestling.
It might be. I mean, I don't know. Until we see her, I don't know.
I'm not even joking. I'm 99% betting that it's her wrestling.
Well, it could be.
Because her character can get across.
But that's a lot of it. If you can get your character across, you just have to be a decent wrestler to, like, keep people interested.
I think they might want her to be, like, a literal star. And so they're, like, waiting until she's, like, really good in the ring to actually put her in, which could be a long time. So then you're just sitting there wasting her, letting her waste away, and you're not doing anything with her except having her walk out.
Yeah.
With
kind of pointless.
That, and the other thing.
Yep, definitely pointless. So then we have the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way.
The Usos versus Ricochet and Aleister Black versus The Bar versus Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yes.
There we go. I almost forgot who was in that match.
I picked the Usos. You picked Ricochet and Black.
Boy, oh boy, was I disappointed. How could you let me down? AB and Ricochet.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked by this. I figured they'd have the Usos, especially knowing that they re-signed with WWE. I figured they were going to let them.
Well, if they didn't
retain
put the
their
belts
titles
on the Usos, then that must mean that Aleister Black and Ricochet are going to Raw then, and they're going to be on Raw.
Well, that's what I think that they're going to go in and win the titles there. It's just a matter of when.
I would agree with that. I was kind of disappointed. They didn't win on Friday. No, they didn't win today. So I was a little disappointed. But, it's life.
It happens.
Good match overall. I'm tired of Sheamus and Cesaro. Nothing's new
Again,
there.
this was another match that was just there. I don't like Fatal 4-Way matches in the first place for titles.
Yeah.
If you want to do a Fatal 4-Way match, for nothing that's important, I'm fine with that. I hate Fatal 4-Ways that are for a championship.
Yeah.
And so, it was kind of an okay match, I guess. Like I said, the Usos retain, keep the championship.
You got that point.
Then we have the Hall of Fame recap. All the Hall of Famers come out and they introduce them.
Yeah, last night we did not end up getting up to do our Hall of Fame stream.
We got back late, missed the first part
really
of
late.
it, and then just didn't get to doing it. So sorry about missing you last night.
Can't believe us. We said we'd stream every day.
Yeah, well,
and then we lied.
When we get home late from our stuff, and then the Hall of Fame runs forever, and Bret Hart gets attacked, and
yeah, dude. Okay, so real quick, I just want to touch on that. So this year, Brutus the Barber Beefcake went in. Tori Wilson, Sue Aitchison is the Hall of Fame. The Warrior Award recipient. We had Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil of Hart Foundation. Who else did we have? D-Generation X. Honky Tonk Man. Who else was there? Is that it? I'll look real quick.
The Hart Foundation. Yeah, I think so.
I think that's it. I could be wrong. Here, I'm looking real quick. One second.
Good group going in.
Oh. The Harlem Heat.
Yeah, Harlem Heat. Like I said, good group going in.
Very good. Some idiot decided to, during Bret Hart's speech, he decided to get in the ring and tackle him.
Yeah.
And literally, you don't have any idea. If you haven't seen the videos on Twitter, there are videos all over the place on Twitter of superstars coming into the ring because they cut the cameras on the Hall of Fame event. But there are videos on Twitter of superstars getting in the ring, and then there's a group of superstars that's taking him out, and Dash Wilder of the Revival freaking decked this guy in the nose, and he just fell over. And so Dash is a hero. He's good for something. He's not good in the Revival, but he saved Bret Hart.
They're not champions anymore, so
no. So now they suck.
So anyway, Hall of Fame.
They're AEW bound.
Then we have the Miz versus Shane Falls Count Anywhere match. I was disappointed in this match.
I thought this was a decent match, honestly, on this card. I thought I would go to lengths to say it was probably one of my top 5 of the evening. We can tell our top 5 matches by the end. We can say what our top 5 favorite matches were. If you have a top 5.
Let's do top 3.
Okay, fine. Top 3. Well, then this is in my top 5 matches, and I have to pick 3 matches in the other one. So,
Again, Miz got beat up at the beginning.
He did.
His dad steps in to, plead to Shane and, puts up his fist like he wants to
does
fight.
this. And I was joking, and I was like, he probably has better punches than Shane does.
Yeah, so he puts his fist up, and then Shane walks over and says, no, do it like this.
He, literally fixes them. And then he, steps back and is like, yeah, there you go. You don't want to get punching tips and pointers from Shane.
No.
Shane has, the wonkiest punches in the entire WWE.
Yeah.
So, don't take advice from him.
So they,
Mr. Miz ends up getting decked by Shane.
Yeah. And then the Miz, beats Shane up all over the arena. And then...
they end up getting on this, stand thing.
Yeah.
It was, really tall. And they climbed up this entire thing, and they had cameras set up there. And then Miz suplex? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Suplexes Shane onto this ground thing that's, they're really high up, and they fall, and they end up, laying on top of one another, and Shane is laying on top of Miz, and he ends up getting the flippin' pinfall. I was like, what kind of garbage is this?
Didn't like the way it ended.
I did not either. Everything aside from the ending I liked. I thought the match was good. This is going to keep going until, SummerSlam or something. To the next big pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Maybe
which
money
I don't like.
in the
I was
bank.
hoping it would end here, and it didn't, so I hope they do something else with the Miz.
I think it'll end with the Miz ending up getting his win, because he messed with his father again. So we'll see him come out on SmackDown, saying, hey, you touch my dad again, I'm going to do even worse to you, and wait till you see, I want you at Money in the Bank, or I want you, here on SmackDown, or I want you at SummerSlam, whatever the case may be.
I don't know what more he could do. He already destroyed him. The only thing he didn't do was pin him.
Yeah. But I think they're going to want to get the Miz's win.
Probably.
So Shane won. Neither of us were right. There was a lot of us not being right this evening.
Yeah. Women's tag team match was next. Again, a fatal 4-way match for the titles. Don't like it. The Iconics versus the
Divas
Boston
of Doom.
Hug Connection versus the Divas of Doom versus the Samoan
Slaughterhouse.
It's
the most difficult name out of all of them.
Basically, I felt Tamina and Nia Jax really had no
purpose in this match whatsoever.
They didn't even do much, really.
Nope. We both said the Divas of Doom were gonna win.
Yeah, I kind of expected them to give Beth Phoenix a title at Mania, and they didn't do it. So anyway, the Iconics ended up getting the win.
I'm okay with the Iconics winning.
I think the Iconics are good. I just hate the squealy voices they use.
I don't have a problem with them winning. I'm absolutely fine with that. It's just the screaming stuff that bothers me.
Yeah, if they'd stop doing that, I'd probably like them a lot more than I do now.
Because they're good in the ring.
Right now.
And they have good characters. It's just they scream a lot.
Yeah. Get rid of the screaming and do your thing without screaming, and I'm cool with you.
But I think they deserve the belts. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
I'm cool
I have
with
no
it.
problem.
It was a decent match as far as matches go. It wasn't a great match.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have the Kofi versus Daniel Bryan match. Overall, a good match. Long match.
A lot of back and forth.
Yeah, and I like the way, at the beginning I thought, okay, they're going to let Kofi win this. And then we kind of went through it.
Halfway through the match, it looked like he wasn't going to win it.
Nope, they're not going to let him win this. And then
I said, after he said that, I said, okay, so then how do they get the WWE Championship on him? And then I said, put him in Money in the Bank. He wins Money in the Bank, and then he cashes in on Daniel Bryan, and he wins the championship then. But he'd get a bigger pop if he got it here at Mania.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Then he ends up winning.
Lo and behold, Kofi ends up winning the championship, and they pull out the new belt from underneath of the old belt, and it's like the WWE Championship that looks good. And then Kofi's kids get in the ring, and New Day brings him a box, and it has New Day t-shirts that have like the belt, finally, champion, or something like that. I want one really bad. They're really cute. And so it was a great WrestleMania moment for Kofi. feel good moment. He got to have his kids in the ring there, you know, holding up his belt, and it was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool the way they did it, and I just, you know, overall the match, I wasn't. I mean,
you were not very pleased this evening, man.
Well, I didn't feel, you know, a lot of the matches just seemed to, I don't know. It was kind of, I didn't feel the energy from the crowd.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand when you get 80,000 people, you're not going to have 80,000 people like on the edge of their seat the whole time. But, you know, just even some of the matches you'd expect, like to see people standing up and cheering and yelling, it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's something I think that needs to happen to make a match a really good match, I guess.
So next we have a backstage segment. My goodness, can't speak. With Alexa Bliss and then the two SNL guys who are sitting back in like a doctor's office. And then we have Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
Yes. And they said something about, she says, these guys will take care of you. And then Scott Hall and Kevin Nash return with doctors' coats. And then they turn around, they have masks on their face. And they pull the mask down and reveal themselves. After Alexa Bliss had said, you'll be in good hands with these guys. And then they go away from that. So
it was a funny little segment, you know, just something else to add to the show, I guess.
Then we have the Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio match.
Worst, actually, no. I would say second worst match on the card.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the point was. What was the point of the match?
I'm thinking that Rey Mysterio is still legitimately hurt, but they didn't want to end his, like, not have his match and have somebody else have to go in his place. So they wanted to get the match over as quickly as possible without having to have Rey Mysterio do too much to aggravate his foot.
Well, I suppose that's possible, but I mean, you know.
That's the only logical anything I can see out of that.
I mean, you know.
Is if he's still actually injured.
So you
and
have
not
him get
100%
destroyed
better.
and look bad.
I guess. He was
And
put
that's
in,
what they did.
the sleeper hold, and he was knocked out within 2.5
Yeah,
seconds.
he got destroyed. I mean,
And Samoa Joe ended up retaining. It was a pointless match, in my opinion. Didn't like it whatsoever. I, stood up, turned around, turned back around, the match was over.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the kind of match it was.
Then we have Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns.
Once again, didn't go the way I thought it was going to.
No, I thought they were going to get pushed McIntyre.
I thought they were too.
But I think if you'd listen, like during the match, I think they kind of gave away who was going to win because he was talking about, you know, taking out Ambrose and he was going to take out Roman Reigns because he was taking out his brothers or something like that. That's what he was saying.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not shocked it ended the way it did.
Yeah.
But I did definitely expect him to start giving Drew McIntyre a push a little bit.
I did too. I thought they were going to push him for the Universal Championship, and especially since Seth won, I was expecting him to take out Roman and then say, "Hey, I'm going to go on to take out Seth and win the Universal Championship."
Yeah.
That's
and again, I didn't.
Do.
This is another match. I didn't feel that the crowd was really into it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but you know, I just didn't get a feeling that the crowd was really into this. You know, the way they should be before it being WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So Roman Reigns gets the win. Then we have Elias.
This was really funny.
I thought it was kind of cool how he shows him playing the drums on the screen and playing the piano, and then he ends up. They show him having this guitar, and he says, "All right, boys, we're gonna play. We're gonna do what play together or whatever he said."
And then they all play together, and then he was like, "Oh, now I'm gonna go solo."
And then he was like, and next time Elias and I will do this and that, and
it was really funny.
So he gets interrupted by a baseball video, and you see John Cena come out in a New York Yankees jersey.
The Doctor of Thugonomics from 2002. The early John Cena, before he was like the "you can't see me."
Yeah.
He came out, and it was hilarious. I was like, bro, I wasn't expecting that. That was really funny. So he cracked jokes, and then he hit the FU on Elias, which is what the AA was, or what the AA is, but back in 2002.
Yeah.
So, it was a cool little segment. I thought it was funny. I really, honestly, John Cena and Elias had a thing last year at WrestleMania. So what is that, going to be the ongoing joke now, that Elias and John Cena have a thing at WrestleMania every year?
I don't know, but I like Elias' stuff, but I don't think that this is a good spot to use Cena in. If you're going to bring him back for WrestleMania, this is not a good spot to use him in.
I thought that, he would have been a lot better in the Kurt Angle situation.
Well, yeah, the Kurt Angle, or they could have placed him in place of
Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that The Undertaker was going to interrupt Elias, and then Elias would get a moment with The Undertaker, where, like, The Undertaker just lays him out and is like, dude, you're freaking annoying.
And I thought we were going to see The Undertaker because, back when they had the doctor segment with the SNL guys, there was a thing that said mortuary. There was a sign that said mortuary, so I thought, oh, Miz probably going to see The Undertaker here somewhere.
Yeah.
Nope, didn't happen.
Yeah, The Undertaker, this is the first WrestleMania that The Undertaker has not been on since WrestleMania 2000, I think, is what I saw, or what I read.
Yeah.
Which is shocking.
Yep.
Because he hasn't, that's not normally what he does. He normally shows up in some capacity at WrestleMania.
So then we have Batista versus Triple H. Again, a lot of beating each other up.
The one thing that people were, like, at was when Triple H, he took the pliers and he pulled out Batista's nose ring.
Yeah.
I was, like, sitting in my seat going, ugh. Ugh.
Yeah.
Gross. And my little sister was sitting in the other room, and my mom comes out from the bedroom, and she
goes, he pulled his nose ring out.
And Mom's standing there going, okay?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
It was really funny.
So a lot of going back and forth. Ric Flair comes down to ringside.
There was this. Oh man, I thought Batista was gonna win this.
Ends up giving. There was a sledgehammer that was under the ring, of course, and then Ric Flair ends up giving the sledgehammer to Triple H. And
you can almost imagine where that goes.
Yep.
It ended pretty quickly after that.
So Triple H ends up getting the win.
He does. That's another point for you.
Yes, I picked that right, and you didn't.
I said Batista because I thought it would make more sense to have Batista win. It would mean more for him, especially if it's his last match, than it would for Triple H. Triple H can come back in several months,
It's not going to be his last match, though. I don't think Batista's done.
After, whatever. I don't know. But he was, like, advertising it as his last match.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way he wants to go out, is beating Triple H. So now Triple H has his win over Batista.
Yep.
The one person you couldn't beat
Yeah.
was me. And so now he's got that.
Yep. So then we have Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin. The dumbest match ever.
This
Why
is the first
they
worst
had
match.
this match, I do
Second
not know.
worst match was Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio. This is the worst match on the card.
I don't understand this because this has been going on for a while and pointless before, and then you put it on the biggest stage and it's still pointless.
I understand the fact that it's Kurt Angle's last match, but why on the planet of Earth would you have Baron Corbin win? Now we're going to have to listen to Baron Corbin come out every single time for the next 60 years talking about how, I'm the one who beat Kurt Angle on his last match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't understand why they did it this way either.
I saw on Twitter that somebody said, what if they push him for the Universal Championship instead of Drew? And that's why they had him win. I was like, no. More Baron Corbin. Can I go cry my eyes out in a corner now?
I think that's the biggest issue with Baron Corbin right now is just the fact that they've overused him.
It is.
With everything.
Big problem.
So, anyway, as we said, Baron Corbin gets the win. Kurt Angle gets on the mic and, thanks the crowd, thanks everybody, and says, I want to hear the 2 words from you before or as I'm leaving here. And
2 words that, mean most to me.
Yeah.
That you all know.
And, the crowd starts chanting, you
You
suck.
suck. You suck. People were disappointed that at the top of the ramp, the Thugonomics Cena didn't come out and, raise his hand up and, point to him and hug him.
I was hoping there'd be
goodbye.
something there where someone came out and, gave him a farewell and then they didn't.
It was very disappointing.
But I think part of that is because, from what I've seen on Twitter and stuff, Vince is kind of still upset about The fact that he left, back when he went to TNA. I think it was TNA.
Oh, whatever.
And so he wasn't really going to give him a proper
farewell.
Well, so
screw Vince.
So then we have Bobby Lashley versus the Demon Finn Balor.
This was a pretty short match. I thought it was a good match, but it was a pretty short match.
Yeah, it was a solid match, and a short one. But I think everybody's over it. So I don't think you got the pop out of it that you could have.
Demon Finn Balor got the pop at the very beginning when he came out to his entrance, and that was about it.
Yeah, but I mean,
they
this
didn't
was
care about the match.
Because this is just a match that's continued on from before, and this is part of this building the storylines. You can't have the same matches over and over on Raw and SmackDown every week, and then when you get to the big event, go, okay, we're gonna throw this match out there again. You build storylines by, having them interfere in each other's matches or talking trash to each other or something like that. And, I kind of felt that Triple H and Batista's match was done better than this because, there's more trash talking than like, physically, having altercations.
Yeah.
Leading up to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I think they would have done that with this, and then all of a sudden you bring out, like, maybe you could have had Finn Balor lose once to Bobby Lashley, and that was it, and not have him having a match like every week, whether it was a tag team match or a fatal 3 or a 6-man tag team match or whatever the case may
Triple
be.
threat,
with it.
a fatal 3-way match.
Yeah, whatever.
Triple threat, that's what they call those.
Yeah, same thing.
And then fatal
3-way.
4-ways. So, as expected, Demon Finn Balor ends up winning the IC Championship, Intercontinental Championship. All of the championships had changed hands except for
the Usos.
All the other championships changed hands.
Yes.
Which is, cool.
Yeah. Definitely. So then Alexa Bliss comes out. Oh, Finn Balor gets the win, wins the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, just
Demon Finn Balor.
Demon Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Now, is that going to be the one time we see Demon Finn Balor?
We'll have to see. Then we have Alexa Bliss come back out to say the attendance.
She talks about the members and the attendance and how many there are.
She then goes on to talk about it's time for a break, and I think she said it's time for a break 3 or 4 different times, didn't she?
Yeah, like R-Truth and Carmella didn't get it.
And then R-Truth and I think they were waiting for the music to hit, and the music never hit. And
probably. And
then R-Truth and Carmella come out. They do a 7-second dance break, leading up to the Becky, Charlotte, Ronda match. They show Charlotte coming in a helicopter.
She is so extra, I swear to you.
They lay out the red carpet for her.
And then she takes forever to walk in the building.
Yes. Forever.
And while that's happening, I said this when I was sitting there. I said, this was all just to set up Joan Jett so she can play the music.
So then Joan Jett plays the music.
For Ronda Rousey.
For Ronda Rousey.
It was cool.
Ronda Rousey comes out.
Then Charlotte ends up coming
comes out.
And then Becky comes out.
Cool
hair on Becky, I will say that. I liked her hair a lot.
Yeah, I thought
her outfit was cool.
I thought her entrance was kind of weak.
Yeah, her entrance was kind of weak.
Considering what
they've done that to her every single time, though.
Considering what they've done with the other two, they could have done something a little better with.
It was weak.
Or with Becky Lynch.
They have done that to her every time, though.
Yeah.
They did it to her at WrestleMania 32. She had the least coolest entrance out of the 3. Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky was triple threat at WrestleMania 32, and she had the least interesting because Sasha had Snoop Dogg and Charlotte had her dad come out with her, and she was in her dad's robe and stuff, and Becky just came out at the very beginning, and so it wasn't very, they've done that to her every time, which sucks. Can it just be a collaborative thing where they, come up with something, and so...
Yeah.
People were making up all these super cool ideas for entrances, and then they didn't do that.
So you have, overall, a solid match.
I felt like it was almost kind of rushed because there were only 30 minutes left of the show, and some of the other matches took up forever. and they took longer than this match, and so I felt like this match was really rushed.
Well, considering they build this up as being the main event match, you know,
it felt really rushed.
I think they could have done a little more with it. I didn't like the way it ended.
I didn't mind it because you know, you'll find out in a second. But I felt like it was kind of rushed compared to the other matches that they had on the card.
Yeah, I mean, I could see where, you know, you could think you would sit here and say, okay, it was rushed. Like I said, I mean, Becky Lynch winning, it's not why I didn't like the way it ended. I just felt that, and maybe it's because because of it being rushed is why I didn't really like the ending. I don't know. But I didn't like the way, how it ended. Mm-hmm. And it maybe has more to do with how fast it ended than
So, with that being said, Becky Lynch won. She's 2-belt Becky now. Woot woot. Repping the man gear. And so I was really, really excited. And I was like, I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm going to have a heart attack. She just won both belts. And so I was sitting there at the table, like, dying. And it was cool. And she ended up winning. She pinned Ronda Rousey. She pinned Ronda Rousey in a crucifix hold. She pinned her down. You know, held her by the shoulders and stuff and pinned her down. Like I said, I didn't necessarily like the way it ended because I would have much rather seen her make Ronda Rousey tap out. I feel like that would have been more impactful just with everything that has happened. So that was a little disappointing. But, I mean, she got the pin over Ronda Rousey, and Ronda Rousey is a loss. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So now I'm curious to see what they do tomorrow and what Ronda comes out and says.
Well, I think what's going to happen is because if you watch the ending, the ref started counting, and Ronda Rousey's shoulders weren't technically on the ground yet. So I think they're going to build a storyline off of that.
But she's supposed to be leaving.
Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. I don't know, but I think they'll do
maybe she
something
just takes it like a champ and actually leaves, and is like, okay, well,
She might.
Or maybe she doesn't and she just crawls into a ball and ends up bawling her eyes out, whatever. That's fine. But Becky has 2 belts now, and everything that's led up to this is like, she's got both championships. It's what she wanted. It's what everybody wanted to see. It's just the way it ended. It felt really, really rushed, in my opinion.
I don't think she'll keep both of them very long. Because I think they're going to make her a focus on either SmackDown or Raw. I don't know which, but they're going to make her a focus on one or the other since they're not unifying the titles.
The one other thing that I did not like about the ending was after Becky got the win, other people got a chance to celebrate in the ring for a second, and there were still, okay, so the next show was scheduled to come on at 11:30, and there were still 5 minutes left, and she won, and then she was handed the belts, she held them up, she turned around, showed them to the crowd, turned around, showed it to the other one, and held the belts up and was like, it was done. There wasn't anything there to look at and celebrate about because they literally rushed it so much.
Yeah.
Which is kind of disappointing.
Well, and then
not saying that I didn't like this match because I did like this match
makes you wonder
just due to the fact that Becky Lynch won the titles, but
again, they wouldn't probably do this to the guys if they main evented. So why are they doing it to the women?
Exactly.
So I don't know.
But it goes down as the first women's main event, which is cool to have these 3 main eventing WrestleMania for the first time. Again, like we said, it could have been something a little more, but it wasn't. So what are your top 3 matches?
I would say probably the Kofi Bryan match.
Mm-hmm. Is number...
Probably my top match.
Number 1. Cool.
Probably the Miz and Shane. I didn't like the way it ended.
Yeah.
But as far as, kind of going, I thought it was solid in the story. And then probably my last one, probably Brock and Seth.
Cool. My top match is it was gonna be the main event because I was like, boop, boop, Becky won the titles, yay! Like I said, the ending was like weak, but that's like my #1 match because she won the titles and it's super cool. Then Brock and Seth, that was a really, really good match, like through and through, great way to open the show. And then, my last match, I'm gonna go with Miz and Shane too. I think Batista and Triple H is a close second, but I really like the Miz and Shane one.
Yeah.
So.
So what we did was we tallied up who had the best predictions and things like that. So we decided we would go get a belt at Walmart.
And we did.
And so because I picked the most.
You won. So I had 5.
Yes.
Right? And you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And
9.
for the weekend between NXT TakeOver.
Wait. I didn't even tally up NXT TakeOver.
It was 2-2 from those days.
It was 2-2.
So you had 2 and I had, so it ends up 11-7.
Garbage. It's actually garbage.
Yes. So you can hand me my belt.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
But
I want to keep it.
I am the champion. So
you have the champion. I have the champion.
I am the champion.
You are the champion.
So I think maybe what we'll do is, if we get enough subscribers, we'll make a custom belt, and maybe we could get them involved in it.
Cool.
And, we could have the Wrestle Story belt that we pass around for predicting the major pay-per-views
Whoever
correctly.
Wins gets
maybe it's something we can do.
Stuff.
We get enough, like I say, we get enough subscribers, enough people do have an interest. Maybe we can do something like that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
it's a cool belt. Never had a WWE belt before. I'm gonna hold it because your shoulder.
Yeah.
Or not, cool. I didn't win, but that's life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold it for you. Doesn't fit on your shoulders. So.
You like it, Bendy?
I hope you like it.
Reminder, we stream every Monday night after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after NXT, after every pay-per-view, and if there is news or information that we need to share, we will do a special stream during the week. Make sure you subscribe. You hit the little bell button to let you know that we are going live. And with that, I think that we are ready to call it a night.
I think so. I get to go to sleep now or not because I'm still kind of hyped from Becky winning.
For those of you that stayed up late with us, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Now go get some sleep.
It's awesome.
Because that's where I'm headed.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Peace, guys.